Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to do a video on this one article because this is so important. There are so many new subscribers to my channel that many of you have not ever heard me cover this, but to me, this is one of the most important things for you to understand, especially when we've had the market going down the last week. To me, this is one of the number one things you need to really understand to understand the bigger picture of what you're a part of right now. And that is the dot-com bubble from back in the 90s and 2000 that led up to 2000. I was there. I saw it, okay? I saw exactly what happened. And remember, that was the internet of information. That was what led us to Google and being able to type anything you wanted to type and find out the information on anything in the world. This is the internet of value. It's the internet of money. And I believe this will be bigger because it involves that same, what I like to compare it to is we can type Google from the internet of information. We can type anything and have that information at our fingertips in 3 to 4 seconds. With XRP, we can send money in 3 to 4 seconds. And that's what we're in the midst of. But we're at the very, very beginning. This article that you're looking at, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies reaching $15 to $20 trillion market cap will be the real bubble, says Ambrose's CEO. This guy makes a point that I've made over and over. The only thing I think he's wrong about in this article is it's not going to be $15 to $20 trillion. It's going to be $20 to $100 trillion. And I believe we will be hitting bubble status somewhere between $50 and $100 trillion. Because in today's dollars, if you look at that internet boom, and then you take into consideration that we're talking about the internet of value and not just information, I believe this will be even bigger. And I've heard other people say that a lot. And so what this guy, I want to read to you a little bit about what this guy says in this article. It says, in a recent interview, Ambrose's CEO, Angel Versetti, spoke with about cryptocurrencies and if they are a bubble or not. He also said that it was too early to compare cryptocurrencies to a bubble. Now remember, this is me talking again. Remember, all we hear in the media is bubble and this is a great crash. And you can't have a great crash until you have a real bubble. And they cannot call $138 billion in all of cryptocurrencies a bubble when Wall Street has not even entered yet. Now remember, the internet bubble, Wall Street was all over that. Wall Street money that could get in on a dime, money that didn't have to, it wasn't difficult to get your money in. They got your money in seconds, anytime, anybody that wanted. Our market, this crypto market, is still not even open to most people in the world. 99% of them don't even know about it or wouldn't know how to invest if they wanted to. We're so early. And that's what's so frustrating when I see these bad weeks and all, and they try to pile on, and I know they're priming things for entry of Wall Street, but it's frustrating to know. I know that there's a lot of younger people that are involved in this market, and that's what this video is for you younger people who haven't been around to see what I've seen. Because I'm going to read for you a couple more things this guy says in the article, and then I'm going to explain to you what that internet bubble was like, because I saw it. I saw what was going on while all that was going on. Okay, back to the article. This is a quote from the CEO. He says, while there are similarities in terms of overvalued new technology startups with unproven or unsustainable business models that were incessant in both .com and crypto, the sheer scale of crypto and .com businesses are not comparable. I do not believe we are or were anywhere close to a bubble with cryptocurrency. We are experiencing, this is still his quote, we are experiencing a strong correction, but the bubble has not formed yet. All the bankers and financiers jumping onto the crypto train signal that the bubble is yet to come. I think when all cryptocurrencies and tokens will be worth, when all cryptocurrencies and tokens will be worth 15 to 20 trillion US dollars, that will be a bubble. Now, I disagree with him there. I think that in today's terms, and I'll show you what the .com got to, but in today's terms, I think he's off on that. I think we're talking anywhere from 20 to 100 trillion in this. But I wanted to show you this now that he said that. And I've shown things similar to this before. Crypto and .com market size comparison. The .com bubble, and I've seen numbers that range anywhere from, say, 7 trillion on up to 13 trillion. I think 9.6 trillion is probably a good figure, and this is what the .com, the trillions that had poured into .com companies and that industry leading up to the crash, which was around 2000. And this I don't know when they did this chart, but our current crypto market is worth $138 billion. Now, that is ridiculous for anyone to try to say that the .com, and most of these people in the financial media and the people that are on CNBC that are calling it a bubble, they know what they were there. They know what the .com went to. They know that this is not anywhere close. They are saying this stuff just to get this situation primed, a cheap entry for themselves. And then, like I've told you before, they're going to be selling it to you, and everybody you know will be talking about crypto. And you, my friend, will have owned XRP before, and you're ignoring them as you should, and you will be one of those people who was here, and you'll be laughing at what they used to say. All right, moving along. I want to describe to you just very briefly what it was like during the .com, because I was there, and at first I was there. I watched it. It was, as I recall, the hype. You think you see hype on Twitter around cryptocurrencies? The hype that Wall Street provided for .com companies and stocks that were IPOing at the time, you can't even imagine. The hype that you saw on television, almost every commercial you saw was a .com commercial, and most of them were .com companies that had nothing behind them other than a .com on the end. There were Super Bowl commercials. There were .coms IPOing, and that's an initial public offering for those of you that don't know. Every day, if you turn to CNBC, there was another .com IPO. These things would come out at $2 and end the day at $50. I mean, crazy stuff. There were valuations on .com companies that were 300 times their earnings, and many times they would get to 300 times their earnings just within days of their IPO. It was crazy. There was not anybody, and this is important in the environment we're in. You couldn't talk to anybody that A, did not know what .com was, and B, couldn't tell you something about a .com. Now think about that compared to where we are. I would say a lot of people have heard of Bitcoin now. Most people wouldn't even know how to buy it. But how many people have heard of Ripple or XRP? I believe the last figure I saw was maybe 1%. I think most people think Ripple is a Grateful Dead song. and that's about their extent of knowledge on Ripple. Now, I want to finish by telling you, I remember the .com bust. It's stuck in my mind. I watched a broker like shaking his head. He just got off the phone with a customer who had lost tons of money on the .com crash. And I remember him walking out and laying down on the couch in the lobby. That's what it was like. I remember those days. And this that we're in, that's part of the reason I recognize the opportunity for what we're in. And so now I want to finish by mentioning again, you got until November 26th. They still have the 50% off the ledgers. It'll last until the 26th. The deal is not going to get any better than that. There's a link in the description of all of my videos so to get one of these things. If you're ever going to get one to keep your digital assets safe, now's the time. And also, since Christmas is coming, if you wanted to get one for your friends or family, now's the time. It's not going to get any cheaper than this. They're normally $99.99 or something, and so that's about $50. Huge deal. I'm a digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that Ripple XRP and crypto will be a 20 trillion plus market before we have a bubble. Thanks for listening.